I'm tired of my hair being out and it touching my neck, so we're gonna braid my hair up. While I'm braiding my hair, I want to talk about the book of Genesis. I just finished the book of Genesis. I've been doing the 1 year, reading the Bible in 1 year with Nikki and Pippa Gamble. First of all, their accent is so cute, but there's a lot of plans on YouVersion to read the Bible in a year. And this year I was like, I've attempted it in the past and was unsuccessful. And now I really want to do it and get through the Bible so I know that I've read every part of the Bible. And like I can go back and like each time I read it, it'll make more sense. And as I like pray to God asking for understanding, like I should receive it. But I just finished the book of Genesis. Oh my goodness. That is my favorite book now. Like, in the past, it seems like a lot of genealogy at the front end. But really, most of the book of Genesis, like, it has genealogy, but there are a lot of stories. And, like, being older, I'm like, oh, I remember as a kid, like, I thought this story was this or this story was that. So it's really interesting to listen. I listen to the YouVersion reading it, and then I read along in my Bible, and then I read the extras that my Bible has so that I can have a better understanding. I'm using these two products to keep my hair moisturized. These stories in Genesis, like, first of all, they're real life. Like, if you believe in the Bible, if you believe in Jesus Christ and God, like the Bible, those things actually happened. And this is just like a nonfiction documentation of all these things. And I'm reading, and it's like you really see how things that happen in your family, like they repeat themselves, or how everyone is connected, how different stories, like going from Adam and Eve to ending with Joseph, like I actually see, I'm like, oh, so this father and then had this child, and that's the father of this child. And it's just so interesting to read and actually understand that now. Because before, it was just like, they were just stories, and it's like, I didn't really see how they followed each other and were connected other than Jesus. But it's like, this is Jesus's line. This is like how we are who we are now, and all the things that I've been through. And some stories were a lot shorter than I expected. And yeah, this little talk thing, because I don't have all my notes in my Bible in front of me, this isn't gonna have a whole lot of information, but I just want to talk and just see what you guys think. Like, what's your guys' favorite book of the Bible? What do you guys love about the Bible? And like, okay, with this Bible plan that I'm reading, listening to, it has like a devotion where the guy is talking about different things. He's putting it and showing part of his life or things that he's read or heard and stuff like that. And I'm really enjoying it. It's like, I don't really care for that part. I really just want to hear the Bible. But sometimes it is really helpful and really nice to see what other people have been through and experiences they've had. And with the plan, I picked a plan that was not solely chronological. I picked this plan because I actually saw, I think he was reading the scripture of the day on the last day of 2023. And I was like, oh, he seems fun. He is nice. And he was like, had a Bible plan. And I was like, you know what? Let me try to read the Bible in a year again. And I was like, okay, like that's cool, right? Before I tried reading it chronologically, and it didn't work. I got bored, all that. But now, like, Genesis is my favorite book, and I'm also, it like goes, so it's like starts in either a psalm or a proverb, or both sometimes, but mostly psalm. and then it goes to Matthew, and then it goes to Genesis. So sometimes you read a whole chapter, sometimes you read multiple, and sometimes, especially in the New Testament, you just read part of a chapter. And so you really have the mix, which I love, like having the change. But now reading, because I used to, New Testament seemed like the easiest thing to read and like understand, but now I'm like, not that I don't care about Matthew, but I'm like, Genesis is where it's at. Like, so much is happening. Like, who wouldn't want to read this and learn about how creation was started and how it progressed? One thing that I noticed that I really had like a question mark next to was with Jacob. Like, God said that his name would no longer be Jacob, but would be Israel. But so often as it continued to say Jacob. Or it would even say like the sons of Jacob and then say Israel such and such. And I'm like, well, why not just call him Israel? So that's interesting. But it's also like Jacob is the son of Isaac, who's the son of Abraham. And it's like, which Abraham then went to Abram, I think. Or it's the other way around. But it's like, seeing how it connects. And even with Jacob, when Jacob finally saw Joseph in Egypt, he was like, okay, it's my time to go, but I want to be buried in the land that Abraham had purchased for burial in the promised land. And it's like, you see how they really pay attention to their genealogy and where they came from and what they had, because God said that that land is going to be their land and the promised land. And even Joseph, whenever he died, he was embalmed, because that's what Egyptians did, was embalming, and so preserving his body. And he stayed above ground for 400 plus years because he knew that the promised land was going to be theirs, and that's where he wanted to be buried. So he, like, the Egyptians cared for him that long, which in the future, I don't remember where I was or what part I was reading. The Egyptian pharaoh was a pharaoh who did not know Joseph, which is who enslaved the people of Israel, the Jews, whatever the correct word is. But I'm surprised that they, like, where was his body? And like, did the future pharaoh know that he wasn't actually Egyptian? And like, how did he let his body lay where it was? I just find it interesting. If you struggled reading Genesis in the past, you should give it another try. Of course, there are the cute movies, which I kind of want to watch now that I've finished reading Genesis to see how accurate they are. I don't know what brand they are, but they have like the one for Moses and the one for Joseph, the coat of many colors, the like cartoon. If you watched that as a kid, reading Genesis should be your next thing. If you don't know what to read, it really feels like stories sometimes. And like, I'm like, what is with, like, clearly there's a thing of the younger children being the inheritance, and being like the blessing that's leading to Jesus. But some of these mistakes, I'm like, goodness gracious. They're like not waiting for God. God tells them the thing, and then they're like, oh, well, this can't happen, so maybe he's talking about it like this way. And I'm like, you know, I feel it. I hope you guys enjoyed this. This is like a new little style. I finished my hair. Let me know your favorite scripture or your favorite chapter of the Bible. I'm just making my way through this, so I'm not going to skip around except for with the plan. I'm pointing this way because my Bible is over there. Anyways, I will catch you guys in the next one.